Hey everyone, we're going to make a tuna and white bean salad today. So first off, to assemble the salad, we're going to get all of our ingredients together. So that's going to include a can of tuna, 1 can of white beans, 1 carrot, and then we're going to break down the celery and take the celery heart with its leaves, a 1/4 cup of red onion. We're going to use 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar, 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard, and 3 tablespoons of olive oil. And then at the end, we're going to finish it with about a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. So now to get started, what I've done, so we want to have, because we're watching our sodium levels, and how much we're consuming. What I've done here is actually, I couldn't find any no salt added beans in the grocery store. So what I did is I drained and rinsed these white beans. And you can use any kind of white bean. You know, you might see navy beans, cannellini beans, Great Northern beans, any one of those will work. And even also I find that chickpeas is another good option if you don't have any white beans in your pantry. So by rinsing the beans and draining the beans, I've gotten rid of approximately 40% of the sodium that was originally part of it. So now these are good to go for our salad. And then we have a 15-ounce can of tuna fish here that we're going to break up with a fork when we add it to our bowl in a minute. And then we're going to prepare all of our raw ingredients. So first off, we want to have a 1/4 cup of red onion. And you can still use white onion for this, or even spring green onions if you have, and use like most of the white part. That would be good. So what we're going to do first is chop the top off, and then I'm going to cut it in half at the root of the onion. And then I'm going to save the rest of this for another recipe later. And by cutting off the top and then cutting it in half kind of makes it a little bit easier to get that peel off. And I'm going to save this peel in a pile to make some vegetable stock later. So I've got a little bit of celery, some carrot peels, as well as some onion to use to make a veggie stock for soups later. And since this is going to be a raw salad, what I like to do, I personally don't like a lot of big red chunks. So I'm going to cut this in half. And then, so I'm keeping the onion intact so that I can easily slice it. I'm going to do one more actually. So we've got it, a half of an onion here in thirds. And then what I'm going to do to make it dice easier, I'm going to make a cut at the root, but not all the way, so that the onion stays intact. And now I'm just going to make some easy cuts so that we have a nice diced onion for the salad. So this recipe calls for 1/4 cup. So this is a pretty small onion, so it's going to be about half of this onion, I would say. Nice part about salad is it doesn't have to be exact. Here we go. Just got about a 1/4 cup right there. Now the rest of this I will save for either another salad to make later, or maybe be part of that veggie stock that I was telling you about, but that I'm going to use the other odds and ends for. All right, so we've got onions out of the way. Next up, we're going to do celery. Now this recipe calls for a celery heart. So now what's that going to be? We're going to think heart, so we're going to think the center. So we've got these beautiful outer edge stalks that we can use for snacks to dip with hummus. Can use with peanut butter and raisins to make ants on a log for a nice snack for kids or adults. I still like to eat ants on a log. So what I'm going to do is cut the bottom off so that I can more easily access all the stalks and get to the heart. I'm going to set that bottom. It's going to be nice in that veggie stock later. So what we're going to do, because you know we all like to have these larger green stalks for later. So these more yellow ones that are a little less appealing for those snacks and those dips, we're going to use that for our celery. That's going to be our celery heart here. So it's this yellowish part with a lot of the leaves. We're going to keep that for this particular salad. And this tends to be the part that people throw away a lot. But again, using it, chopping it up nice and small dice is really good for a salad. Whether you're having it on a sandwich or over greens, that makes a nice crunch, nice texture. So we're just going to chop these up really well for our salad. So just by holding them together, and then you see just a nice lever motion with the knife. So we get a nice small dice that'll go well in our salad. And even here, I'm going to keep the leaves as well. A lot of good nutrients in here. And anytime you can add fruits or vegetables to anything, not only are you getting nutrients, but also some good water, because food can be hydrating too, as well as fiber, which we all know is great for our digestive system as well as our hearts. All right, so we got our celery nice and chopped up. Now I'm going to do a small carrot. What we're going to do is grate it on this box grater. And if you don't have a box grater, you can just either do like small peels with a vegetable peeler, or you can just chop it up really small, however you like. I find it easier to cut the carrot in half before I start to use a box grater. And then just an easy motion, top down. And grating your carrots is a nice way. You still get that nice raw carrot flavor, but it's not as much work on your jaw for a salad. I'm gonna get it as close as we can, as close as I'm comfortable, and then I'm gonna take those and chop them up with a knife. A box grater for vegetables, I like to use it for sometimes onions, carrots, broccoli stems, so that stalk part that you don't always use for like stir fries or something like that. Apples, if you're gonna grate an apple and put that into a salad or into pancake mix to have apple pancakes, you're getting some fruit with a delicious breakfast. It's also a great way to prepare fruits and vegetables that are kind of not at their peak best anymore. Especially with apples, when they get a little soft, I don't like to eat them like that, so they're good. That's what it's good for grating. And those little stubs that were cutting it a little too close, don't want to lose any fingers in this salad. So now we've got all of our ingredients prepared. What we're going to do before we put them all into the mixing bowl is to make the dressing that'll go with it. So in the bowl now, I'm taking my 3 tablespoons of olive oil, my large tablespoon of Dijon mustard. I can never get enough of that. Put that in there. Since I'm the only one eating it, it's okay to use my hands. And then we've got we need 2 tablespoons now of red wine vinegar. You can use apple cider vinegar, even white vinegar as well. The only one I wouldn't say would go well with this would be balsamic. There are 2 tablespoons there. And now we're ready to just add everything in. I'm gonna whisk this together so we get that nice consistency. And this same mixture, you can play around with maybe adding a little bit more olive oil, a little bit more red wine vinegar. Makes a really delicious salad dressing. I really like it a lot. You can see how quickly and easily that came together. And you can just kind of play around with the proportions of each of the ingredients that you want to add to it. I've even before added a little bit of honey to it for like a honey Dijon type vinaigrette, which came out really well. So first off, I'm going to add my 1 can of rinsed and drained white beans. Now we've got our can of tuna that's just easy to break up with a fork. And right away we've got 2 fantastic sources of protein in the beans as well as the tuna. And with the tuna and the olive oil, we've got some really healthy, nice healthy fats. Good for our brain. Break that up a little bit with a fork. And now we're going to add that nice little red onion. Let's see here. We've got our shredded carrot. And our chopped up celery hearts. Now this salad, a couple things you could add to it, even more protein if you really want. It tastes really good with a little hard-boiled egg on top. And we're gonna also season it with black pepper. This is however you like to your taste. I'm a big fan of black pepper as well as Dijon mustard, so I like to add a little extra. And then we're just going to combine our ingredients here. And this is a great salad for if you need to bring a lunch with you to school or to work. Keeps really nicely. I like to let the flavors come together for a little while before I serve. You know, nothing too long, maybe 10-20 minutes. Let them all get to know each other in the bowl. And now I've got a beautiful tuna and white bean salad. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy.